Welcome back, boys and girls, to Big T Rambles Movies. Another edition of Is It Still Good? My dear friend Brylee has joined us today. And we are going to watch the 1987 film, The Lost Boys. Alright, so The Lost Boys was released on July 31st, 1987, which would have made me 12. It was directed by the great late Joel Schumacher, who gave us classics as A Time to Kill, which is one of my other all-time favorite movies, but somehow also gave us The Bat Nipples. So, it's a balancing act there, I guess. The cast was actually a very stellar cast. You have Kiefer Sutherland from 24, A Time to Kill, Phone Booth. Kiefer Sutherland's been in a ton of movies. He's a great, great actor. Jason Patric, who I only really know from Speed 2, so I forgive that, if you will. Diane West was the mom. I think of Practical Magic when I think of her. She's been in a ton of stuff too. The Coreys, Feldman and Haim, License to Drive, Dream a Little Dream. They did several movies together. Feldman is still with us. Haim is not. Bill S. Preston, Alex Winter is a supporting cast member of the film. Bernard Hughes was the grandpa. The late great Edward Herrmann played Max. And Jamie Gertz played Star, who would appear in Twister years later and give us this famous scene.
Cow. I gotta go, Julia. We got cows.
The movie's budget was around $8.5 million, but it pulled in a box office of $32.2 million for 1987, was pretty spectacular. And without question, it's a cult classic on VHS DVD down the line. What's great about this is Brylee has no idea what this movie's about. Most of you viewers probably do. You know, it's a great classic horror movie. So we'll see what she thinks.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So, now you know what we are. Now you know what you are. You'll never grow old, Michael. And you'll never die. But you must feed.
More moments later.
Okay, boys and girls, we just finished watching The Lost Boys, the 1987 classic from my younger days. I was 12 when I saw it. Of course, you're a little older than 12.
I'm 20.
Yes. So, but what'd you, initial reaction?
It stressed me out a lot, but it was a really good movie. It had the ugliest vampires I've ever seen in my life.
Well, when they were in vampire form, yeah, they're not supposed to be cute. But,
so ugly.
But pre-vampire form, you seem to have no problem with
did
a
not
young
have any
Kiefer
issues.
Sutherland.
No issues, by far. But yeah, it was a lot of stress. I didn't really know what was happening, so.
That's good, so it holds up then, I think, as far as a horror movie goes there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
How long into the movie do you think, since Brylee knew nothing about the movie, so you had no idea it was about vampires?
Well, the whole ambiance of it, the leather jackets, the motorcycles, all the...
We're going into it.
About 20 minutes, and then I was like, all right, well, comic, as you said,
yeah,
the whole vampire.
Comic gave it away for me as a kid.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was just 12 when I saw it.
I mean, it's either zombies or vampires or there's another genre that I can't think of.
Werewolf, maybe.
Werewolf, there you go.
I mean, werewolf.
It was either werewolf or vampire, because zombies, you have an apocalypse situation, and werewolves always have the leather jackets and the
details there. Out of the characters, which one do you think was your favorite?
So Grandpa and Sammy, by far. Grandpa was just... just Grandpa.
He has all the best one-liners.
He does. He's kick-ass.
He's kick-ass. I love the scene in the car. We're going to town. That's as close to town as I like to get.
Vroom, vroom. All right, we're done. Get out.
We're done. Get out. Let's sit down.
No, chef kiss. That's the whole movie.
I like his drawer in the fridge. Old fart. Don't touch his drawer.
Oreos.
Oreos.
It looked like soda, but I'm
root
sure.
Beer. He said root beer. Yeah, Grandpa.
Yeah, him and Sam. I think Sam just because I'm an older sibling, and then he just is funny. Him and my Goonies character. I don't remember.
Yes. So
Alan.
This would be
Edgar.
Alan
Edgar.
Edgar. Yeah, so this would be Brylee's first Coreys movie. Those of us closer to my age, we grew up with the two Coreys, and this movie, License to Drive, Dream a Little Dream. The two of them made lots of movies together, and then made a reality TV show for a while until not the one from the Goonies. Corey Haim passed away. Corey Feldman's still with us now.
Rock and roll.
Doing his thing. I think they made a couple of sequels to this, but they weren't like direct to TV. They're by the Frog Brothers.
Oh, okay.
And they try to make one. I think they're trying to remake this movie, but with an all-female cast instead of guys flipping around. But I don't know. I can't It's going in the first.
As long as it turns out okay, I don't really
Yeah,
care.
I don't care as long as it's a good movie.
As long as we have one guy like we did Star who's just there for the aesthetic and is pretty, I'm down.
Jamie Gertz. So yes, a lot of actors you probably didn't know,
But several I did recognize.
You didn't recognize, I assume, Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes.
David, the main
Yeah,
vampire.
yeah.
Jamie Gertz went on to the only other movie I really remember her from. Did you ever see Twister?
I have, but I don't remember anything.
She was the psychiatrist girlfriend that he leaves, goes back to the throat.
Okay, that makes more sense.
And there was a TV show she was in for a while too. I can't remember the name of it either. So, what do you think your favorite scene of the film was?
Oh man, it's Grandpa in the car. All right, that's as far as we're going to town. See you later. It's like it's my personality right there.
I like that too.
That, or when he just comes in at the end and is like damn vampires.
It's one thing they want to learn to sing there. All the damn vampires.
You're like, oh, you knew, bastard.
So one of the most popular scenes, of course, is the muscle-bound saxophone guy at the beginning.
Oh yeah.
It's a lot of people think of first when they get to see this movie.
There was a lot going on in that scene.
There was a lot going on in that scene. And what's funny is in the comics, he's like a much larger character, I guess.
Well, he
in
was
the
just there for the visual.
This visual effects was just
Some eye
there
candy
and there.
throw in there.
I think my favorite scene is when they go into the cave and they kill the one vampire.
That was
They're freaking
really
out.
gross.
That was really gross.
I wasn't expecting him to explode like that.
Yeah, it's just going all everywhere because the movie really goes from not very gory to gory really quick.
A couple seconds.
Like I thought, like the whole maggot rice scene and
I don't like maggots, and I don't like. I mean, worms are fine. I've had fried worms before, but like, I was much younger. It tastes like French fries for anyone who's wondering. But as older, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I couldn't do the worms and the.
They're
In fact,
just so
I wouldn't eat Chinese food for several years as a kid because of this scene.
I'm still gonna eat
I wouldn't eat.
Chinese.
I mean, now it doesn't bother me at all, but you know, to this day, whenever I get a carton like that of rice, the first thing I think of is that scene of him eating the maggots that aren't really maggots because they're messing with his head.
The whole time I'm just thinking, did you not learn? Just don't take food from strangers. You don't go into random
drink
caves.
bottles of blood from
that especially look like that.
That look like that. Yeah,
that
don't
jeweled and
drink that.
pretty.
I think my other favorite scene is when they're hanging underneath the train trestle. I thought that was kind of cool.
I did think that was really cool. It's the
that-
whole like vampire bat ambiance.
Yeah, and I was like, how's he gonna get out of it? What are they gonna do? How do they get out of it? And they don't really tell you. Of course,
He flies.
He kind of flies home. Yeah,
Kind of.
that's the
Implication
implication
yeah.
I get is they kind of fly home. Another very popular thing about this movie was the soundtrack. So what did you think of the music for the movie?
I liked the soundtrack. At the end, it kind of sounded like they were giving off the list of the 10 Commandments, like "Thou
Yes,
shalt
and one
not
of the
kill."
songs that the kids.
But I really
kinda
did
sing
like
that
it.
out.
I was kind of jamming out over here, so
That was a early soundtrack. I think it was like the fourth CD when CDs became readily available.
Yeah.
A few years later, I think it was the fourth CD I ever bought.
it definitely kept me in the movie. I was
Focused.
stressed the whole time, and then of course the music picked up, and I'm like, what's happening now?
So, did you feel you were, when they did the job of throwing you off from who the head vampire is by having him come to dinner and he can see his reflection, he can eat the garlic,
Yes.
and that kind of just, then at the end, him admitting he's the head vampire?
Well, because I thought it was David, but then it gave away a little bit that it was Max, but then it kind of went back and forth, but then he asked permission to come into the house, and I was like, okay,
Gotta be him.
you can't come in without being invited, but then I was like, oh my god, is it really him? But maybe it's crazy, but it was him.
I know, so, but right after he gets invited for dinner, the garlic doesn't work.
I
You
know,
can see
you
his
see him in the
reflection.
mirror.
He doesn't glow. You see him in the mirror. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
then it can't be Max. I don't understand that.
But then it explained it once
Yeah.
you get asked in and you give permission.
all the other
powers.
things go away.
The bathtub with the garlic was really gross.
No, I know that's a really gross
And
thing
like it
too.
exploded and all of the pipes
blood
started
everywhere. So this movie really ramps up from no gore
to gore.
super gore.
Oh, and they peeled the scalp off that one guy in the by the bonfire. I remember that because he bit him in the head.
He bit him in the head. Yeah, that's when the gore really
The
kicks
gore really
in.
started.
It's the bonfire scene where they're finally admitting to Michael that they're vampires.
And you
that
first see them as vampires.
Vampires, yeah.
Super ugly. A lot of white powder.
Yeah, much.
Ugh.
Yeah, and they eat all the punk rockers around the campfire there.
Oh, it's the
Because
second.
before that, you just saw them flying and take someone away. You never
Yeah.
saw them as vampires. We have a scene in the tree where they go everyone and he tells them you've got to feed. I think for me, my other favorite one, like I said at the end, when the one vampire gets shot with the arrow into the stereo and he fires off
Death by
stereo. That was a little more commonplace in 1987 than it was
Love those
nowadays.
stereos. But they also had another stereo in the cave.
Yes.
If you
they
noticed
did.
the weird
The
Chucky.
boombox. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the weird
boombox.
Chucky kid picked it up.
We all had boom boxes back in the day there.
Stereo heart song.
It's good stuff. Yeah, stereotypes. So yeah.
See, I know what's up. I was raised on the 80s.
So like I said, came out in '87. Joel Schumacher, Jason Patric, Corey Haim, Diane Wiest was the mom, not Keith. Diane Wiest. And Edward Herman, not Herman. Max was Ed Herman. I get that mixed up. Kiefer Sutherland, Jamie Gertz, Corey Feldman, who's one of the Frog Brothers. You know, all pretty solid actors of their time.
Yeah.
When the movie came out, so they did a good job
It was
casting.
a fun movie.
So I guess in the end, overall, would you say it holds up? It's a good movie, or is it just my nostalgia?
No, it definitely holds up. I would watch it again. I'd show him. It was a good movie. We're horror Halloween fanatics, so
You're going to be watching this, Brandon.
I need-
Watch this after you watch the movie because we gave away a lot of it.
we
so
did. Sorry.
Be sure we let Brandon know you should watch this afterwards.
Yeah, we won't tell him anything. But it was definitely a really good movie. 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. Okay, so and you know my scale is 1 to 5 T's because I'm big T, and The Lost Boys gets a solid 4.5. You know,
4.5 T's. Perfect.
almost 5. It's real close.
It's
That's
a
probably
really
you say
good movie, especially for the
4.75
80s.
T's. Yeah.
Yeah.
87. Like I said, that kept me up at night. You know, like I said, I was 12 years old.
It won't
or so.
keep me up at night. The only thing that's kept me up at night is La Llorona, which
Oh,
I didn't know any of the story behind La Llorona until I watched the movie, so then it really took me by surprise.
Yeah, Poltergeist kept me up as a kid. But this I got over quick. It was cool, but you know I didn't want to be near the windows and stuff like that of the house.
Every horror movie, they're in a really big house with at least 2 stories, and there's always tons of windows.
Always tons of
and
windows.
the locks are shitty. Oh, am I allowed to cuss?
Yeah, you can say.
Okay. Really shitty locks, the little doop locks, this garbage. It's terrible. But I mean, they were smart about the whole fireplace thing, putting fire in there. Most people don't think of that.
Yeah, and then but he came out underneath the fireplace, which I thought was kind of neat. Now,
I thought he came through the. Maybe
he burst
I
to the
blinked.
floor
Oh, okay. I thought he
to
came
get
through the
underneath
ceiling.
the fire to get away from it. Yeah, when he burst through there, that was one of the.
I didn't know he came from the floor. That makes much more sense now that I think about
I
that.
avoided the fireplace there. Well, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. We went through that pretty fast. Done a lot
No,
of
we
takes.
did,
We
yeah.
kind of tore right through that one. I'll add in some effects and stuff to
We're
drag it
naturals
out a
at
little bit
this.
in my introductions. But you are naturals.
Thank you.
So you have to come back and watch something else?
Absolutely.
Coolio. All right. Well, once again, I want to thank my dear friend Brylee for coming over and watching this movie with me and reassuring me that it's not just my nostalgia, that it's a good movie.
It's a good movie.
And I thank you guys, as always, for watching Big T Rambles, one of our movie editions of Is It Really Good or Is It Still Good? I forget what I've called it now.
Is it okay after all these years?
Yeah, is it okay? Yeah, is it okay after all these years? We'll just change the name as we go along, as we need to. And of course, somewhere down below here, there is a like and subscribe button. So of course, if you would push that button, I would appreciate it greatly. Hope you enjoyed our kind of Halloween episode.
Star Wars, not very
That's all right.
Halloween.
My shirt is creepy Yoda.
Yeah,
creepy
we got that.
Yoda.
We're good.
Works there. So once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.